Okay, so this is the petition. This is what our Indiana petition looks like. Okay, the petition has to be on 8.5 by 11 paper. It has to be what's called head-to-head. So this is the top of this side. It's also the top of this side. That's what that means. And the petition has to look exactly like this, or it's not going to clear. Okay, these are legal documents. They have to be printed correctly, or they cannot be used. You can get them for a fee from Kennedy Campaign. You can also just print them out yourself. You can do that either at the Secretary of State website, or you can do it from Kennedy. If you do it yourself, you're going to have to fill in this information up here all by yourself, okay? I believe Kennedy's will come pre-printed, but they haven't been put on the website yet because we don't have a vice president. We can't start collecting. So each petition has to be segregated by county. So in other words, that means the voter has to sign a petition for the county of residence, and that county name must be at the top of the petition. And you'll see a spot for that right up here is where that is. This first box gives you instructions, and the second box is basically what the contract they're signing, saying that they are going to support the candidate and that they want his name on the ballot. Okay. Then after you put the county in, you're going to want to enter the name of the county of basically the first person you're getting the signature for. Okay, and you put it right up there. It has to be the county of their residence, where they live, not where you are collecting the signatures at. Okay. You need to get a different page if your first person's from, say, Adams County and your second person's from Marion County. You have to have a different page for both of those people. Okay. Now, if you get another person from Marion County, they can sign on the same. But, like I say, you have to keep them separate by county. After you've entered the county, then this sheet becomes that county sheet. And you must let the people sign this particular petition know this information up here, that when they're signing it, that they plan to vote for Mr. Kennedy at this point in time, and that they want his name on the ballot. Each petition has to contain the candidate's names, addresses, and office sought. So in our case, because we have a presidential candidate and the vice president and president are done at the same time, right up here, at this spot right here, you'll see a series of lines. So the first line is going to be Mr. Kennedy's information. The second line will be his vice president's information. Okay, and the third line will stay blank. All right, and then where it says offices sought, Mr. Kennedy's would be president, this would be vice president. And then it asks for their name and their address in this area. And what that is, actually their name and their address. And those have to be printed the way that the Kennedy campaign wants them printed, because if they differ from the papers that are being filed with the Secretary of State, then the petitions can be denied as well. Okay, it's a very, you've got to dot your I's and cross your T's, or they're going to try to kick these out. All right. After you fill those in, you cannot start collecting until that's all filled in. And like I say, I believe the Kennedy ones, that this up here, this part, except for the county, will be pre-printed. Okay. Or you can copy that information down. Then after it's done, you can take this around. When you get somebody's signature, you cannot pay them or provide any sort of value to induce somebody to sign this. If you do this, it's considered bribery, and you will get in trouble. Okay, you can be taken to court over it. You can't even give them like stickers or pins or anything to people once they sign. Okay, this is going to be seen as bribery. I can't repeat that enough, and you will be the person responsible. Okay. Each voter, when they sign, has to do it in their own hand. You have your signature, their first name, their last name, the date they were born, month, day, 4-digit year, their residence, which is basically their street, apartment, and then the city and zip code. They don't need the state, because everybody who is signing this should live in Indiana. Okay? Don't worry about these last two over here. Okay, there's two little boxes that they deal with. Okay? Then, when you are finished with that, they have to use black or blue pen. You have to use black or blue pen. Don't use gel ink. It can smear. I mean, there's nothing legally wrong with it, but if it smears, then you've destroyed that you collected. once you've collected this, and that may mean that you got 4 people in the county and you're done, you know, you had a rough time, you don't want to go back to that county, you don't want to, you know, you're finished. Then you would come down here and sign this. Now, if you still are planning to do more in that county, wait until you've got it filled, okay? But this down here at the bottom is your certification, that you watched them, that you did what you were supposed to, that you told them what this was about honestly. And it requires your signature, your printed name. Remember, when you're signing and printing your name, this should be the same. So if you don't use a middle name, don't use it in either of these. If you do, use it in both, okay? This is your date of birth. This is your signature, or the date you are signing it, okay? Which may or may not be the same as the dates that these people are signing it. And then down at the bottom, you have to put your address, and when you put your address in, it has to contain the state. So no state up here, state down here. And that's because carriers can be from any state. Okay, now the back of the petition, we don't do. There's nothing on here that we need to fill out, except at this very bottom, in certain special circumstances, with people who have disabilities and can't sign themselves. And I'll cover that in a separate module.